Welcome back to another episode of the Hooligans Pitch. As always, this is Michael, and along with me is...
Chad.
Well, Chad and I were coming at you bright and early on Sunday morning because we just had a doozy of a matchup between our two clubs. And boy, let me tell you, I think we lost some years on our life. Lots of yelling, lots of thrills. Some upsets, some controversial plays, some things we've never seen before in the history of soccer, which our commentators are now talking about it right now. Chad, let's pop some beers. Let's make our beer mosas. Let's get into it. What you drinking? What are you having?
Well, mine's already prepped, but
you're good to go. What beer are you rocking with?
I went with the Fresh Haze.
Nice.
I was looking for the juice haze from New Belgium, but couldn't find it. So I just stars didn't align. But this is just as well a good substitute. So
nice. Well, I am rocking with New Belgium's Danger Beach IPA. Have you heard of this one? Very good, very tasty. That's what I did this morning for my first one. 2 parts beer, 1 part OJ for the Hooligans Pitch Beer Mosa. Highly recommend. It gets you started bright and early, and then it just keeps rolling throughout the day. Pouring mine now. I'll be ready to go in just a minute here, Chad, but let's get rocking. 2-2. First question I want to ask you, was that a point gained or 2-point drop?
I think looking over the course of the game, I felt both sides of that.
Yeah, well, 60 minutes you had the lead.
But I mean overall, Arsenal's record away at Liverpool has not been great in recent history. So, anything better than a loss, is a good result here. As much as the win would have been nice, like a point is still a point closer to the title. It takes back a little bit that 8-point gap that we had on City, but it's not as far back as it could have been. So
you're still a game up, potentially 2, depending on what goes City's way with that game. They still have to make up, but let's kind of start with the game. I mean, Arsenal scored early, and that definitely had me nervous. Never like going down early. The crowd just seemed so disengaged after that first goal. Defending looked out of place. We just looked kind of dead inside. How did you feel after that first goal?
Like, if I came into it, last week I think I said I was a 7 out of 10 on the confidence scale.
Yeah. As
this got closer, is probably more like probably 6-ish, maybe a touch under. So then, getting that goal early was like some relief, but it was, not too early, but early enough where there's plenty of game time left. So I was like, not trying to get too ahead of myself, but it's always nice to get that early goal, get some of that pressure off. And I mean, Liverpool didn't exactly look up for it initially. So
no.
Had a different game, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it all comes down to our defending, at least the first half. We'll talk about our execution later in the second half. But the first half, once we saw us going down 1, and then quickly 2, because of some atrocious Virgil defending, just caught in no man's land. I don't know what he was processing there instead of marking, because Robertson was behind him. And I don't know. They've been playing long enough together to know that Robertson is not going to win any aerials against those strikers. And Gabby, Jesus just got up.
I mean, even then, Virgil's not even on Gabby. He's I don't know that he even really checked.
No, he was blind to it.
He was defending no one, defending a space, but you can't be doing that.
Yep. And it felt like Trent was getting burned for most of that game. Again, he's not one to be a crazy defender. That kind of seems to be the name of how wingbacks are playing right now. They're not the most reliant when it comes to either tracking back or checking who's on the wings. But going down 2-0. I started the game probably out of 7 as well. I know, maybe a little overconfident for Liverpool fans right now. After the first goal, it went to like 5, and then after the second, dude, it was like 2. And then Chad, I know it might not have been much, but Xhaka waking up Trent. I don't know why that was the play that woke that man up. Can't tell you. If that's all it took, why didn't we do this months ago? Just have like someone run into him or put him in no man's land and just get bumped into. That was there's players like that in every sport where you just don't want to set off. Now, I didn't think Trent was one of those people. I'm honestly shocked he like kind of decided to step up and be like, you know what, I'm gonna get this ball down. I'm gonna start playing more central. Even the shot he took near late in the game, I was like, I'm cool with that. Like that's the confidence that we've been looking for all season long. But what killed me inside is the way Salah played today.
I mean, I think both sides kind of had some players like that where it's like they maybe try to take on a little too much, or got caught up in some of the emotions of the game, something like that. Like, I mean, yeah, Salah was the main outlet for so much of that game. I mean, as he is in almost every game, I guess. But
it felt more so today. It felt like they were trying to go through him a lot today.
Yeah, which, I mean, makes sense. He's on Zinchenko's side. They know Zinchenko tucks in. So you're kind of forcing, Big Gabby to come out and mark him, or Zinchenko to run back. So, like, you're kind of playing on that maybe lack of communication between those two, and then Salah squirts through, or, just outpacing one of them. And, for the most part, I'd say Big Gabby did a pretty good job of, like, keeping Salah in check. And Zinchenko would, like, kind of come back sometimes, not all the time. But I mean, those times that he gets through and he's just driving that goal is just like, I know what this guy is capable of. That's terrifying.
It's super fun to watch on my side of him just sprinting straight at you, and I'm just like, there's so much that can happen here. What is to come, and unfortunately, the one goal, which is fine, the missed PK, that was just awful. That's 2 in a row now that he's just really bad on.
So, I mean, I was going to ask at this point, like, do you give him the next one as trying to, like, get him back into it, or do you just give him, like, at least one off and, maybe just kind of reset his thinking a little bit? Or
I think you give him one more, and hopefully a game that isn't as, I don't know, maybe high level, crucial.
Yeah.
We have Leeds next week, so. Okay. If we have to go against Leeds and he gets a PK opportunity and we are up, I'm totally happy with him taking it. However, the last 2 have just been really weak and misplaced. And Klopp not wanting to watch, that's a little concerning. I don't like that as a manager.
Does he normally watch or?
I think it goes either way. Sometimes I know I've seen him not watch, but also I have seen him watch, and I think maybe for the ones in the big moments that he really needs, he isn't watching. But to go off crowd reaction instead of just looking, like
that was gonna hurt. Like
that, dude, that sucks. And
at least his initial celebration was like pretty subdued.
It was calm. It was like a little like.
I mean, yeah. Could you imagine he just starts sprinting? And
thank goodness that didn't happen.
That would have been bad luck.
That would have been a meme forever. So yeah, that was really unfortunate. I kind of want to talk about that elbow on Robertson, just because that is something that, as far as I know, has never happened before in professional football, especially I mean, maybe somewhere around the world it has, but at least documented like how it just was. The PGMOL issued an apology letter within the second half of the game, which doesn't happen ever. Like, now you make this referee a fan. That fan's going to jail and is banned for life.
Either fan or if it's player versus ref, like that player's getting banned for 8 games, fined, whatever.
But look at Mitrovic. He pushed a ref, and that was like, they are on the same level, but nowhere near the same caliber. Could you imagine Mitrovic elbowing someone in the face? Like that's crazy.
I don't know what that guy was thinking. Like, I don't think there was any real controversy going, fouls or no fouls on his side. Like, it seemed pretty straightforward, the reffing he was doing over there, and I don't know. I mean, Robertson is gonna let him know what he thinks about a play just as much as any other player will. But like,
I don't know. I think Robertson might go a little bit more, little bit more over the top.
It's not something you shouldn't be used to, of like just letting the player ramble on. Yeah, whatever. But like, to throw an elbow in this day and age, where we got cameras everywhere too. It's like, what are you doing?
It's like it might have been his first time ever working with Robertson, and like, hey man, that guy could be like a little knife, just jabbing in you and twisting and turning. Yeah. It finally broke that ref. However, he could have yelled at him. There's so many other things that could have happened.
I was just so confused. Going into half, I saw Robertson yelling at the refs, and Henderson's back there, backing him up, and then there's a yellow come out. I was like, what are they complaining about? Like, I thought they were still going on about some earlier play or something, or like the penalty or something. I don't know, but to have that happen, and I feel like it's kind of weird then, if you're gonna investigate this and release a statement mid second half, like, I think once that ref is being investigated, you got to pull him from the game, right?
Exactly. You can't have that referee still in there, because I'm not sure what side he was on. I'm not even sure what referee it was. Was it the James Milner lookalike?
I think so, because they kept showing him, and I was like, why do they keep showing this guy? But,
that makes so much more sense. Because I didn't know about the elbow until after the game.
Yeah,
it really wasn't talked about during, but the whole yellow card for Robertson at halftime, I thought that was because of the PK shout that could have happened right before half. It was like, it wasn't even close to being a PK, but I was like, damn, they like really wanted it. Yeah. But that was just shocking after I saw the video, and it was it was clear he hit him and he jerked back a little. It didn't look like it was nothing to obviously hurt him, but enough to be like, yo, what did you just do?
Yeah, I thought, because Kyle heard about it first, because I was getting dishes done and stuff after the game, and he was like, oh yeah, the ref like elbowed Robertson. I was like, what? So I thought it was going to be like less of an elbow, more of like a push away.
Yeah.
But no, it's like
boom. It's crazy. Wild. Absolutely insane.
Craziness.
The Ramsdale yellow, did that happen because when Salah got the PK, he like didn't want to go in the goal box?
I don't know. I mean, I guess
because he was outside the 18 when they were kind of setting up.
I think that it's all kind of the hubbub around a PK is everyone wants to go say their piece of the ref and all this stuff, and
drama,
delay the game a little bit. Yeah, I don't think there's anything egregious there where it's like he was pulling an Emi Martinez dancing at the side or anything,
Yeah.
But I don't know. There was a few weird calls in this game, like, which I get it is this was probably a tough one to ref anyway, because like it is two teams going at it, and both pretty active, like high energy teams, and you're gonna have some strong challenges and all this sort of stuff. So like you kind of have to find that balance of like what's allowed, what's not. So I don't know. Overall, I think the reffing was fine. Just think there's some calls that were just a little bit off for me.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. I thought some calls were overly hard and didn't get called, and then some of that were really soft and then did get called. I was like, oh, all right. The PK shout that Salah received, I do think Jota beat holding to the ball. It was a softer PK, but
I mean that's it's one of those. I mean, look at the last game that Arsenal and Liverpool played is not exactly the same thing, but that same sort of situation where like someone got there first,
right?
And it's just kind of that coming together, and I mean we've seen that called and
not called. And not called.
Yeah, not
it
called,
can go the other way. That could have easily gone the other way too. And everyone like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like, and now it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what side you're on. It's like it can all be jumbled. But I'm glad we're talking about this PK, because there are other ones maybe not PKs, but disallowed goals that were just mind-boggling this weekend. And we want to talk about that. But I want to get your thoughts when you saw Bobby Firmino come on. Did you get a little nervous there? Because I got extra motivated. I'm not gonna lie.
He's always a threat, and you don't see him too often this season. But especially against Arsenal, he's had some great goals, and he just kind of has that knack to kind of float in those in-between spaces and pop up in the perfect position to get the goal, which he kind of did here. I mean, maybe not as floaty on the goal that he got, but I mean, to jump and get that header that's like kind of like a fadeaway header, it was like, I mean, you got to give it to him. Zinchenko should have defended better anyway, but that's my gripe with the subs that maybe weren't made, I guess, in time.
Well, just a little. As soon as that happened, he pulled him. It was like that came 30 seconds too late.
Well, yeah. I mean, for me, it was like, I guess kind of jumping ahead, but when you're pulling off Odegaard, putting in Kiwior, going to the back three, you might as well pull Zinchenko too, because he's not your typical, like left back, wing back sort of situation. So I think your balance on that side kind of gets a little weird then. Mm-hmm. So if you would have just pulled Zinchenko out and put Tierney in, then Tierney's more accustomed to that role. He's I'd say a little bit better on that one-on-one defending. Not to say that his goal might have not still happened, but I think the setup would have been a little bit more stable with Tierney in there instead of Zinchenko.
No, that's fair. Were you I don't want to say shocked, but at least like concerned with the amount of touches Liverpool was getting throughout the whole second half? Because I mean, that's what I prefer. Let us control the game.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like that Arsenal started well, got the 2 goals, and I don't know, then just kind of maybe lost a little bit of focus on like the football side of the game and put a little bit more focus into like the I guess emotional side, if you want to call it. So a lot of their like passes or just second balls were just a little bit rough, and that whole second half, Liverpool pressed a lot better than they did in the first half, and I'd say they have better than they have in a lot of games this season.
Oh, that was one of our better games of the year by far.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it was annoying to watch for sure, like to just kind of have zero control, and then the times where we get the ball, it's like a misplaced pass or a rough touch or whatever it might be. But yeah, I thought we were gonna hang on and escape with the 1-goal lead there, but I mean, Ramsdale making some great saves back there. Even Allison, he made some key saves, and
positioning was key for Allison today. He was in the right spot at almost all times. But then again, you could argue so was Ramsdale. The deflections that he had to parry away, and the Konate shot, wild. I don't know why he didn't put a head on that ball and wanted to use his chest. That would have been my okay, you could have probably done that a little different, got some power behind it. But the fact that Ramsdale got there, totally insane. I guess it wasn't even a problem. I just thought the angle he took on Firmino's goal was a little crazy. Like he was angled way too far into goal. Yeah. But I think Firmino was just so close. Like he kind of had to do that. But that was kind of he got beat on positioning because Zinchenko got beat. So it wasn't like a purely, his fault. It was a sequence of things that happened to get him into that spot. But yeah, Ramsdale is easily my player of the match. He could easily be my defender of the week too, if we're going to go that, because he made some crazy fingertip saves.
I mean, yeah, I kind of had both Ramsdale and Allison for their saves and positioning and stuff today as like defenders of the week. Allison had a great save from Big Gabby's header. I mean, it's right to him, but you got to make that save.
Yep.
And he had some other good like parries on some crosses and stuff.
The Saka one where Saka came in and Robertson had to kind of go last second slide. That was terrifying. Terrifying.
Yeah. He was. I mean, Allison hardly ever lets the team down back there. So
Really?
it was par for the course for him. But like, that's what he's known for. He's good at holding down that back line and being such a big presence for Liverpool. So, I mean, honestly, yeah, I'd kind of go for both of them as defenders of the week.
That's fair enough. He had one slip when he went to pass it, and I was like, be the one. Be the one. It didn't work out, but...
You never want to see that slip when it's coming against you because, it's on the end of that.
It's crazy. It wasn't a straight counterattack, though. A lot of defenders were back. But then again, I was like, you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
3 saves for Allison, 4 for Ramsdale. That was a super fun game. If I was a neutral watching that, like I would be so. I mean, I was entertained as obviously a fan, but a little bit more invested in there.
I mean, that felt like an actual like Big Six clash. Like these two top teams going at it, and it looks like it's going one way and it might get ugly, but the other side, never say die sort of situation and fights their way back in and like really takes control of the match. It ends in a draw, but like, I mean, what I think that's kind of what both sides would be okay with if you like said it at the start, like shake hands, you both get a draw, like, okay. I mean, I think that's probably fair on the day too. So, man, that's just if Liverpool can continue to play like that the rest of the season,
we can't.
Why not?
We only play to the level of our competition, Chad.
Well, I don't know. Klopp's got to go. He's got to go booty bump Trent out there in the warm up
for real.
Show him the highlights of this game or something. Like you gotta build on this. It wasn't a win, but it was a good fight back and a good showing for Liverpool again. That pressing is what they had been known for, and that's kind of been missing a lot this season. And now you did it, at home, so like you should have the upper hand, but you still came back from 2 goals down against league leaders at this point. So it's a big like statement draw, I guess. Like not a statement
for sure.
win, obviously, but should be a good foot forward if they want to build on it.
Well, a healthy Thiago makes a huge difference. Them being like, here's the ball, go find us like some movement, and that's just so helpful. He's such a commander on the pitch. Henderson did not have a great game in my opinion. A lot of balls in the box, but like his presence didn't really feel that effective to me. I thought Nunez on the wing against Zinchenko was hilarious when he was going to try to do some crazy step overs and did almost nothing. And I was like, and then he made one move, he got by him, which he's just bigger and faster, like simple as that. But then the second time he like stared at him and I was like, not again. He just dumped it off. I was like, okay, like fine with that. Because that made me a little nervous. Like you can't do it twice. You can't. But I had fun. I yelled quite a bit, and when Bobby scored, I stared at Kristen. I just went, Bobby! And she was like freaking crazy. But yeah.
Just feel like I could go back to bed now. I'm exhausted after that game.
I really could. I deserve a nap after that. All right. Got anything more to say on that one?
No, I don't think so. I mean, a win would have been cool, but I'll take a draw.
Yeah, a draw just means we're not, that upset at each other. It's not like the worst thing. I'd rather have a draw than see you get beat 7-0. How about that?
That's fair. I'll take that.
Yeah, and I hope vice versa too. Because damn, we don't have to put that on our resume this year. All right, Chad, you want to jump back a little? What game we want to talk about? There's so many that happened. A couple of them that I kind of peeked through and did our little highlight viewing. Didn't seem that interesting to me. Pretty boring, to be honest. And I'm referring to City, Southampton, Palace, Leeds, and then West Ham, Fulham. Bournemouth was okay. I thought Leicester. I'm surprised, honestly, Leicester didn't get that, at least a draw. But I guess to start, maybe we just go to Leeds Crystal Palace because it's kind of relevant in my mind. Just a quick little pitch there on it. Leeds had a great start. I watched the majority of this game until it was just kind of out of hand. Great start, great header by Bamford.
Yeah, that was great.
The pressure by Leeds was on. And then they did that thing again where they just keep running back and forth and have like no idea what to do. And Palace had kind of a similar mindset to start, and then they just started to break them down, catching them, on the breaks. A little bit of a defensive, miscue by Leeds because they're just an engine that runs, but they don't know where they're running. And Crystal Palace put up 5. I turned my head for 1 second, and it was 3-1, then 5-1. I was like, whoa.
I mean, you look at the time of the goals, it's 46, then 52, 55, 69, 77, all kind of came in a little cluster. Well, two clusters, I guess, but considering where Palace was prior to sacking Vieira and going 3 games without a shot on target or whatever, and kind of just floundering, I don't know. I didn't think bringing Hodgson back was the move, but maybe I'm wrong.
Here's what's crazy too, though, Chad. Back-to-back wins for Palace. They're only 6 points above the relegation zone.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is the mid-table this year is just almost doesn't exist. I think your only mid-table might be from I guess you could say 11, 9, 10, 11 maybe. Is your mid-table where you're kind of in that no man's land. Brentford's only a point off of Liverpool, so they're kind of still in that shout for a top 6. But it's I guess 9 and 10 for sure. You're mid-table, and then you're either maybe getting relegated or you're maybe getting into Europe.
It's crazy, and I want to lock. I do want to lock Southampton. I think there's no way they're going to get out of this.
Yeah, I think they might be donezo.
Leicester, super unknown. Forest being in there now is comical. Yeah, they're hitting the panic button. Do you think Steve Cooper's gone by next week? We did say if they lost this game that there'd be a chance that he would not be there the following week.
Maybe. I think they play City next. Oof. So you maybe just dump the manager now, take that City hit,
interim,
and get the new guy in there and try and build for the last little run in. But
they have a tough stretch here, Chad.
Oh, is it?
City. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry. Forest has Man United.
Oh, United. Okay.
United. Liverpool. Brighton, Brentford, Southampton, Chelsea, Arsenal, Palace. Season over.
Oof.
I don't know what games they'll win.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
They should beat Southampton.
I don't know. Now that's a relegation battle.
That might be it.
Just based on points right now, Southampton wins that. They're 1 point away from safety.
That might be it. Forest might be done.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I'd say I'm locking in Southampton. I don't think they make it out.
I'm looking at Leicester's lineup right now, and I think they have the easier schedule despite having some tough opponents. But they got Man City, Wolverhampton, Leeds, Everton, Fulham, Liverpool, Newcastle, West Ham. About half of those may be winnable for them.
Mm-hmm.
And
but,
so
I mean, it is Leicester. Then they
bottle it a lot.
Games.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's gonna be fun. I can't wait to see how the bottom ends. Top ends too, but it's just you and City. There's no one else up there that's gonna take it.
Yeah, I mean, But I mean, it's kind of a nice split at the top, I guess, right? Like you have the 1 and 2 that are
Mm-hmm.
close enough to go for it, and then that 3, 4, 5,
3 to
6, kind of all in there to fight for Champions League and
Mm-hmm.
Europa League, and yeah, I mean, I think you'll have good looks all over the table, but man, I don't know.
It's gonna be fun. All right, City, Southampton, Holland on the board again. No surprise. Weird, wacky, awkward stretch of his leg goal. I think we kind of unanimously agree that that's probably goal of the week. I haven't seen anything like that in a while. Despite there being good goals this week, that one was just like funky.
List, but
That one was funky.
mean, yeah, the way he like tippy taps his feet to get kind of in line with the ball, and then just like swings the leg.
That dude is 6'5", Chad.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't even look like he jumps. He just like swings that leg with all the power, and it just like propels his body to do the like half bike kick thing.
Yeah, that dude's a freak. I honestly, I don't know how he does it. Yeah, pretty straightforward there. Nothing, I don't know, nothing out of the ordinary. If you would have told me that game was going to be 4-1, I probably would have agreed with you.
Yeah.
City's rolling. Southampton, not so much. Just kind of going up my list here. Then Ashton Villa, Forest. Villa's rolling, man. Now they got Ollie Watkins scoring again. That dude is on a roll.
Yeah, I mean, they look great. It didn't seem like Forrest really ever gave them any trouble. And, if Ollie's going to keep scoring, I mean, I think it was when Gerrard was there, they were 19th, and now they're up into 6th.
Europa, yeah.
Like, Emery's turnaround, with basically the same squad has just been incredible, and not a great look for Gerrard's managerial career.
Isn't that wild? Essentially the same team.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's just like almost like a Lampard sort of thing where maybe a little bit too big too soon. Like, not that Villa's a huge team, but, it's a team that's been in the Premier League for a bit. It is Premier League, so, like, you're at a higher level. Like, I don't know. I think some of these former players turned managers are just trying to make that jump a little too quickly, I think, before they really have it set of who's like how they're gonna play and like what their style of play is. And they're like trying to figure out in the Premier League, which is kind of a rough spot to do it.
Well, the way Vincent Kompany has done it, we got a visitor. Coming up in the Premier League with Burnley, that's super interesting. Super cool for him to that, that's what I wish just more managers would do. Instead of going to these big clubs, start with something, that's challenging. Not get these like squads that are already ready to go for you. Because if you screw them up, it looks way worse. But if Kompany screwed up Burnley, no one would really know.
No, and I mean that's the thing is Burnley, had survived in the Premier League for a handful of seasons under Sean Dyche, but they went down. Typically a team goes down, they don't come right back up. So he kind of has that free year at least to just have them survive in the championship. But I haven't watched any of their games, but like to get them to come back up right away, it's a good look for him. Like even if he doesn't end up being a great manager, like he's definitely going to have some eyes on him from other teams that, if Leicester survives this season, like, do you try and pull Kompany away from Burnley because he, just got them promoted? I don't know, but cool to see them back and, already to have one promotion team confirmed. Like,
yeah, I think I did watch them play against City. Obviously they got smoked. I think it was 6-0. So like, obviously I think if they get to the Premier League, it will be right now with the team they have, obviously will be a relegation like team. But if they want to spend big money like Forest, they just got to be really careful about who they bring in and making sure chemistry happens first. Now, Forest did have some unfortunate injuries, so that chemistry couldn't really happen. But they just got to bring in the right crew to make sure that, one, they stay healthy, and two, they all like each other. That could have been the case with Forrest, but they all got hurt or had kind of weird egos like Lingard and not having Henderson for a chunk of the season. Like, there's a lot of things that went wrong for that team. Niakate started out so good and then got hurt. So they brought in, old man Willie Bally, and then he got hurt. So it's like they just kind of keep having to roll over these players and hope something sticks, and it just hasn't.
And I would think, companies been around in the game for a long time, was captain for quite a long time. So he probably has a lot of guys, more experienced guys that look up to him and, might be willing to come in to Burnley next year and be a kind of a leadership role or, just some more experience on the field and, kind of just make sure they survive. It's can kind of swing them that way of like, yo, remember all those years I had your back? Pay me back now.
Yeah, that would be pretty interesting to see if any of those players jump. I could totally see Ben Mee because, with Brentford, like, he's been great for exactly what they needed. Now, Burnley might be that next club for exactly what he needs because he's getting up there in age. He's not playing the entire game, but just having that veteran presence to then come back to that team, I think that would be super neat for him to do that. Again, will it happen? I don't know. Brentford might say, no, like, we want to keep you. You're exactly what we need and what we want.
Well, look, if Everton goes down, Tarkowski back to Burnley.
Crazy, right? Crazy. That would be pretty awesome. And honestly, I think it could happen. I think there's a lot of players on Everton who could, obviously lead, and they have 27 points. They're in the relegation zone. They're there. It could happen. I'm a little disappointed. We can kind of segue against their Man United game. I thought Man U played pretty damn good, pretty fast. Obviously way better than they have in recent games. I thought Everton would play a lot better because they have been playing with a little more fire and motivation. But United tore them up.
I thought, I guess maybe a little bit on United forcing this to happen, but I thought Everton just looked a little bit more disorganized, especially defensively, than we have seen, which is a bummer. But maybe that's just Man U tearing them apart a little bit and pulling them out of position. But my big takeaway from that game was Rashford coming off with an injury before the end of the game. So
was there timetable on that?
I don't think we know anything yet. But I think they were saying it looked kind of like growing area ish. So if he's out, it could hurt United's run in here a little bit. But we'll have to wait and see.
Okay, well, they got glue guy Casemiro coming back next week. Eriksen got on the pitch. Good to see him back. It will be interesting to see how they work in Sabitzer, Eriksen, Casemiro. Like, they got a lot of midfielders in there now. And how they work out their touches will be, I don't know, slightly fascinating. But with Rashford off, they might have to change up their formation a bit. Martial came on. Like, we might see more of him. Jadon Sancho with the assists, looking like maybe not his old self, but at least getting some confidence back.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that'll be a team, I guess, to watch just to see how they finish out the season because they've been on a bit of a roller coaster. All right, I really want to talk about Tottenham and Brighton because I think Brighton got robbed so hard.
For sure.
Like, what the fuck?
Like,
two times.
Where Robertson got the physical elbow to the face, Brighton got the metaphorical elbow.
Oh, dude, they got a straight punch to the nose. Okay, I don't even. Okay, so we'll talk Matoma first and his goal.
Yeah,
that was really hard. I couldn't watch that once and give you a straight answer.
No,
ball hit him. I would say more of the bicep than the shoulder. Is that fair?
Yeah.
He didn't do anything egregious to where his arm was extending outwards. I think it was in a natural, somewhat a natural caressing of the ball posture. In real time, damn close. You slow-mo it, the ball hits him like right in here and kind of rolls this way. If the ball was cut in half, 68% of that ball was on his bicep. Okay?
Yeah.
If 40% of that ball is on his bicep, they rule that a goal.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
So did they make the right call there?
I mean, me personally, I think that goal stands. Like, especially with how they have the handball rule kind of classified now as like, above the shirt line is not a handball, and yeah, it kind of hits that like pocket of like shoulder bicep area.
It
So
was
kind of that.
It was all in his jersey though, no?
Oh yeah, yeah, it's right in there. So like, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell, but again, from the views that we were shown that VAR was looking at, I don't think there's anything conclusive that you could say, yes, handball. For me, I think that goal stands, honestly. Like, and that's not just because it's versus Tottenham. Like, I'm trying to go off of pure like what the handball rule is supposed to be, and I know there's a lot of gray area
So much
around what's a handball and what's not these days. But that's been like the more consistent thing of like above the shirt line, sleeve line is fair game. Granted, I think there's some gray area even in that of like what kind of movement you make. But I think like you said, it's a normal posture to try and like chest the ball down as he's running.
Yeah, he's catching the ball with his body, and like that's what your arms do.
Yeah,
I'm 80% for it being a goal. I'm 20% understanding. Maybe not why they called it back, but just being like, I don't know. Now they called it a goal on the field, correct?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they called it a goal on the field. I think it has to stand because they called it a goal. If they would have said no goal and looked at it and said no goal, okay.
I think because it was called a goal on the field, okay, do your VAR check. But then it wasn't even one of those where like the ref goes over to the monitor to take a second look.
Didn't look at it.
So, I mean, that's where it feels harsh too. Of like he just took VAR at their word, which I don't know. I feel like if it's getting checked like that, you should go have another look at the monitor.
It doesn't make any sense why you wouldn't want to look at that. Why would you not want to look at that as a referee on the field, being like, "Oh, was that the right? Like, let me just check it."
Yeah.
Are they not allowed to?
You must be able to. Like, I think once it goes to VAR check, you can go look. And it wasn't like they checked it one replay and they said, "Oh no, clear handball," and moved on. They took a minute or two to look at it. And I mean, I don't think there's any view that conclusively says it's a handball, but oh well, that's just one.
All right,
disallowed goal.
I've been trying to like not get too fired up on it, but I'm ready to fucking go, Chad. Okay, how was McAllister's ball, the deflection off of his side, a handball? Tell me, make me believe that was a handball. Go.
Well, you see, the ball formed around his side and crawled up his arm, and then went into the goal. So
now, correct me if I'm wrong. McAllister was almost hugging his torso. No.
Oh yeah, he was as tucked in as you could be in that situation.
So when you tuck, how are your arms off your body?
And it wasn't even just a tuck; it was a tuck and like turn away from the shot. Like, so he's doing everything he can to get out of the way. Again, I think even at the looks that we, the viewers, got, I would say there's nothing super conclusive that that's off his arm or anything, right?
Nothing.
To me,
no.
It looked like the side to me. and maybe there's a view out there that we haven't seen or something, but it is a deflection, but I don't think it's an illegal deflection or use of arm to get the goal. But again, it's that gray area they got now with the handball rule of like, if it touches any part of the arm leading to a goal, it's a handball. It's just like,
but his arms are on his body. That's
yeah.
This is you put Matoma's goal and this goal next to each other, and they are night and day.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, if we want to call Matoma's goal like a clear handball, like this one surely is not. Like you can't be more compact of a player in that situation. And I don't know. For me, that one should stand too. If you're giving me one of them, I would probably say this Welbeck goal stands more so than the Thomas.
I know. It's like, dude, what? They got burned so hard in this game. Unbelievable. And then their coaches were going at it too, which was awesome. Love a little bit of banter on the sideline.
I don't know if you saw, but like even prior to the game starting, they were like having some words with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. There was some history going on beef there, and then it just kind of blew up a little bit more. But I think Tottenham is lucky to get away with the win here. I didn't see it in the highlights, but it was. I saw the post of it that there was a foul on Matoma in the box for a penalty, but it was not checked by VAR.
Was this near the end of the game?
Yeah, I think it was towards the end. Like the ball comes into him, and he like puts his leg out to, control it and kind of pass it off. And I think it's Højbjerg, goes in to tackle him, but like kind of just steps on his foot after the ball is left. And I mean, maybe you wouldn't call it a penalty, but like for VAR to not check it at all was another questionable kind of. But what are we doing here?
I think the league wants Tottenham to win these games. I don't know. Just after this one, those taking back technically what? 3 goals, right? No, I guess just 2.
Two that probably should have stood. If it is a penalty on Matoma, then maybe a third. But I don't know. I saw a lot of Brighton fans saying that they've gotten 4 apologies from PGMOL for VAR inaccuracies, and they're expecting the 5th here any day now.
Oh man, that's crazy. Well, credit where credit is due. Son hit an amazing goal. When he loaded up, I was like, "Uh-oh." I'm pretty sure I said "uh-oh" out loud, but like 5 seconds before, because I saw him like kind of eyeing it up. Yeah. And so kudos to him. 100th goal for him. The most
first
goals.
Asian player to do so.
Yeah, that's awesome. So my question is, do you think Matoma beats that record?
Maybe. I
think it maybe is a good answer. It could happen.
I mean, Matoma looks really good. It definitely has age on his side. I think it just kind of depends what he wants to do with his career. If he wants to stay in the Premier League or, venture out somewhere else or what. But he's got goals in him. He's got assists in him too. So he could at least come close to it if he hangs out in the Premier League for most of his career. Yeah, he's 25. Son is 30, and like Son's been in the Premier League for what, almost 5 years. So kind of like, I think so. I don't know, not identical timelines, but fairly similar on the way they're coming up. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes about his career. I hope he stays with Brighton, because that club is just super fun to watch, and I don't know, he fits their style really nicely. That whole team is like dialed in. That's why like this game, we talked about it last week, saying like, oh, they're gonna smoke Tottenham, and like I think they outplayed them.
If we're tallying ghost goals, they crushed them. But
I think Brighton outplayed Tottenham. Like they looked the better side, I think, for vast majority of the game.
Yep.
Just got unlucky on some of these calls, I think, and that's what it comes down to sometimes.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate. All right, Wolves and Chelsea.
Oh, I'm ready to laugh. Oh, Frank is back at the wheel, driving Chelsea to their future at holding down number 11. We thought 10 was good, but number 11, the symmetry between the ones. He knows what he's about.
Chad, they lost 1-0 to the Wolves.
Sure did.
And honestly, the Wolves were one of the worst teams to start this Premier League, and they've come a long way. What is Chelsea doing? Like, what is this? What do we even say about them anymore?
I just, at this point, it just kind of feels like one of those teams where it's like more individuals than an actual team. Like, I just don't think they mesh very well. And granted, there's some turbulence right now of switching managers and altering the systems because of that. But like, Wolves looked like they had way more fight and drive to play this game than Chelsea did, and I mean they paid the price.
I mean, yeah, but Wolves, I caught a glimpse of this game. Didn't look like they played like amazing.
No,
that was not their best game of the year.
Certainly not. But I think they had the energy that Chelsea was kind of missing, and I think we said Chelsea had 13 shots, only one on target. Like, you're getting shots off, but you got to find a little bit more quality in those shots. At least force a save.
Crazy. I think having Diego Costa in the starting lineup was a smart move to make, just because like the club might have rallied behind it a little bit more as well. Be like, yo, let's get one for Costa. Yeah. So yeah, that's just like, damn, Chelsea, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, Nunez with what a rocket of a hit
for sure.
If Holland's goal didn't go in, that might have been my goal of the week. It was just like, I mean, that the volley, but just so much power on it too. Just there's no stopping that.
No, Kristen made a comment too about that goal, being like, she said like, whoa. And it was my second time watching it, because I saw it live and I was going back just to see if anything had happened that I missed. And she was like, that was a freaking hit. And I was like, sure, it's crazy. But it wasn't a striker. So our tally continues. Wolves without a striking goal, but still winning games. Why do you think Mudryk is not playing the entire game?
I don't know. I mean, you could argue it's just allowing him to kind of get acclimated to the Premier League.
I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna stop you there. It's been 4 months.
Yeah, but I mean, we've seen players take longer to get really settled in the Premier League and then start performing. That said, though, I mean, the times he's been out there, his performances haven't been great.
Right. I mean, so
Chelsea hasn't been great, but he hasn't shown a whole lot of spark into like what could be.
So like, shouldn't he be playing these entire games to get acclimated? That's the point I'm trying to make. Is like, oh, let's bring him in at the 70th minute while we're down 1-0 and like get him used to the Premier League. It's like, you should be doing this. I personally think if this is your future, this is the guy you signed for 7 years, he should be playing like Enzo. Enzo's in the entire game. I get it. Different position, different play style, but you're essentially betting your future on a guy who's only playing 20 minutes in this game. I don't know. I would just be taking a different approach. Like, sure, scrap the season. You could lose every game from here on out, and next year doesn't change anything. But at least start playing the guys who you think are going to play next year, and be the dudes moving forward.
I mean,
that's just how I feel.
That makes sense to me. I mean, you're playing. I mean, at least as it's marked on the formation sheet, Felix is playing in that left wing where Mudryk should be playing.
Right.
So why not play him more centrally so you can start Mudryk out there? You got a lot of pace up front. You have Kovacic and Enzo in the midfield to find their runs and stuff. And I don't know. It's this like attachment to playing Havertz as a striker when he's not really a striker.
Yep.
And like, I get that Felix is a little bit of the same mold, but I think just more technical and more assured in his shots and runs and everything. So I don't know. It's been Chelsea the whole season, just what is going on here? And I mean, we didn't even really say too much about it, but I don't think bringing Lampard back as the interim dude is the move.
Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap.
For me, I thought they got rid of Potter because they had an opportunity to sign someone, and like they knew it. Like it was set in stone. We just got to get rid of Potter. And if that was the case, that makes sense because you can still kind of scrap the back end of this season, but you know that the new guy has 8-9 games to start to get his influence in the squad and start to build rather than waiting till summer and kind of going into the season with unknowns, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to bring in Lampard, who didn't have a great time at Chelsea as a manager, had a worse time at Everton as a manager.
Much worse at Everton.
It's not a very exciting appointment, and I think players too would probably look at that and maybe raise an eyebrow or two of like, oh,
for sure. Do you think so? Yeah. Do you think hiring Lampard made them go, oh, we're going to try real hard for him? Hell no.
Right. And that's what I'm kind of saying is like, if you sack Potter and the dude you want to replace him is not available yet, or you're still figuring that out, okay, cool. But like, I think you got to try and bring in someone with a little bit more, I don't know, experience or something, because you're still in the Champions League. You're going against Real Madrid.
Yeah, like 2 days.
It's a big test, but if you can find someone that has some level of experience there to just like try and get you through Champions League, you have quality in that squad to potentially go and win the whole thing. It would take some luck and some doing, but like, why not make a push for that and see what happens there? I mean, I don't know who you get. I don't know who is available. I just don't know that Lampard is like the move.
I think there was a manager who coached a team halfway through the season and then won Champions League for them. Oh, that's Tuchel with Chelsea. Yes, that's what it was. He just got hired by Bayern Munich.
They just missed out on him.
Oh, just crucial. They hired the guy who's replacing the guy who's replacing a guy that they might play in Champions League. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if they hired Tuchel back? I kind of wish they would have.
I mean, honestly, I don't think that would have been a bad move. I don't think he would have came back, but like,
I don't think so either.
I think that would have shown a lot of, I guess, humility from new owners and the club of like,
we fucked
up.
We
didn't see eye to eye initially. We thought, grass was greener and all this, but like, please come back.
Could you imagine? Holy shit. That would be insane. What do you think Lampard's first words were to his club? Because I'm just imagining he sees like Reece James and like Kepa. He goes, hello again.
Oh my god. He probably walked in, he said, it's good to be back. This feels right. And everyone's just like, what the fuck?
That's wild. Insane. Gosh, I can't imagine he's there next year. He should just work. All these guys like who aren't going the company route, they should just work in the front office for a while. Be player development. Do something to like be involved. Having your name on that team sheet saying managed by XXX, like that's just like, I don't know. It's crazy. Yeah, I can't believe he's with Chelsea again. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think they're just moving too quickly. Like, look at Company and Arteta. They both did some time working with Pep. Like, you're working with, one of the best managers that's been in the game, right? Like,
Lamps kind of did too, though. Not enough, but he kind of did.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, but you go to, I think he went to Derby or something and like did decent with them in Championship and
Lampard did? Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know he was
or maybe he was a different one, but
he went to New York and then he came back to like City. I know didn't Rooney coach at Derby?
That might have been Rooney, but Lampard coached some Championship side. Um, but I mean, yeah, I think it's just
Oh,
like,
yeah, you're right. Derby County FC 2018-2019.
I think you just got to take some more steps in between. Like Rooney is, now coaching a MLS side, which like level of play is not Premier League, but it's still a decent manager job, right? And a step towards a bigger and better thing if that's what he wants. Whereas now, Lampard, okay, you got to manage in the Premier League, but like didn't do so hot with Chelsea, almost got Everton relegated. And now like those are two strikes on your resume, right? Whereas like Rooney is like not perfect in his managerial career, but like it's not expected to be perfect. Like no one really comes into these jobs and knocks it out of the park right away.
I won't be shocked if Rooney gets a job in a top 5 league in Europe in a couple years. Derby for 2 years, DC United for now. I don't know. I think that's the right approach. And seeing the managers, there was a list that went out of tenureships of all the managers, and it was like after I want to say it was Brentford's coach, the list dropped off to like coaches less than a year.
Oh yeah,
with like Ten Hag leading the way, and he got signed in like August, which is crazy. So I don't know. I think long-term managers just do so much better than hiring these guys and expecting fast results. But that's the world we live in. They want results tomorrow. However, Chelsea is not getting them, nor is I don't know. Excuse me. A lot of these other teams who hire new managers and have fired them. 12, and I think by tomorrow we'll have the 13th manager fired.
You think so?
Yeah, I can't tell you who.
You just got a feeling.
I got a feeling. I think it's probably going to be Cooper with Forrest. As I look at my list,
he's the only one that makes sense. Like Southampton could, but like
they're not going to do it for the third time.
I mean, yeah, you're going down. Like I don't know if you try and find someone new to like rally the troops for the last 7-8 games. It's not impossible, but like I don't think it's very likely either. So I mean, yeah, I think Cooper's the only one that's really on the chopping block. You could
Moyes is there.
Moyes,
he got the win.
They got a couple wins in their recent games. I think your only other like questionable one would be at Fulham, since they've just been in like free fall now for a while.
And they've already fired one coach.
You're still 10th, so like
right. So that's what I mean. Like, what would firing your coach if you're going to finish between 10 and 14 anyway? Like, maybe not fire him now, but at least probably for next season, unless they are just like in love with him, which they could. Again, they could be. That team has had some weird things happen to them. Mitrovic is doing them no favors. I will not be surprised if Mitrovic is not on this team next year. I feel like that's kind of, despite him being a pretty good player for the first 2.5 months, virtually he's done nothing since November, besides hurt the team.
Yeah, he really put on a show leading up to the World Cup.
Insane.
Came back, had some injury issues, and then like when he finally gets back from injury, just blows up and gets the 8-match ban.
I was a huge fan.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I mean, yeah, I think Fulham, if they're smart, will probably try to move away from him. You need someone more reliable, whether it's the goal scoring or just being available for selection.
Okay, where does Mitrovic go? Where does he land? If he stays in England, of course.
Yeah. I feel like, I mean, I could see him at like maybe like a West Ham, Bournemouth, maybe even Everton if they stay up. Like,
I can see Everton.
There's quality in him. It's just he kind of feels like a Granit Xhaka kind of player, where like you gotta set him up for success.
What about Chelsea?
Not let him Chelsea. For the lols, yeah, send him to Chelsea. But I don't know. It just he definitely hurt his potential here.
To be honest, I look at all these teams and realistically, I don't think any of them fit. I think Everton is probably an okay nod, but again, like, do they want that type of player on their team? I don't know if he even plays in Premier League next year. I could see this being like his true exit, and he goes to, I think Italy. I think Italy suits him.
Italy.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Giroud's getting old. Zlatan's out. I feel like AC Milan might be that club. Red and black. I think he looks good in red and black. Pretty evil. But yeah, Fulham lost 1-0 against the shaky West Ham, thanks to an OG. Yeah, I don't know. Moyes is lucky he got away with this win, because West Ham parked the bus for virtually the whole game. They wanted nothing to do with the ball. They said, get it out of here, as we talked about. A majority between their four defenders, like upwards of 40 clearances between them. So that's kind of comical. I don't think we've ever seen a stat like that before.
Yeah, that was a lot.
I'm tallying it up now. 43 clearances. Well, I guess way more than that. Probably close to 50, 54, close to 60 clearances as a team.
Hey.
60.
Yeah, that's the get that ball away from me.
Yeah, we want nothing to do with this. Absolutely nothing. Fascinating. 61 in total. There's the hard number.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess. Yeah, I mean, good result for West Ham in that they got the 3 points, especially coming off of that midweek loss to Newcastle 5-1. They looked awful. Terrible in that one, like worse than worse. But not the most assured win, but good to get a win after a game like that, I guess.
So let's just jump to Newcastle really quick. Newcastle's won 5 in a row. They're kind of finding their groove right now. They just lost St. Maximum again. No surprise there. Don't know the timetable, but most likely he could be done for the end of the season. I don't think Newcastle... I don't see Newcastle really risking anything unless they maybe start to sink ship and like, holy crap, we're going to lose our top 4 spot. But I am liking the way they're playing. Like, now they're just starting to score. That was like their biggest problem, was they weren't scoring. And now all of a sudden they, found their way with Isaac, and he's, right place, right time.
Yeah, they just,
they look good.
They were struggling to kind of convert their games from a draw to a win, and that was kind of my issue with them when we were trying to decide on top 4 and all that. But now, things are clicking. I think they're playing with a lot of energy. Maybe got a little bit lucky to get the win here away at Brentford, but Tony just botched his first penalty, made his second one, so fair enough. But and then the Raya own goal certainly doesn't help that situation, but they look good. I mean, they're certainly up there fighting for top 4, and it feels like if any team can avoid the top 4 is lava game that always ends up happening, like, I think Newcastle might be the one to get through that.
So looking at top 4 now, if you have it open, do you think those teams, those are the ones in that order? We'll call it that.
Yeah, I mean, Newcastle seems a little bit more, I guess, like stable and on better form than United is right now. United's definitely been playing good, not flying as much as they were after the World Cup and stuff, but they seem a little more shaky. I mean, they do have Casemiro coming back, like we said, Eriksen.
The Rashford,
if Rashford's out for a while, that could really hurt. Yeah, I mean, I don't see Tottenham making any real push into the top 4, but I guess we'll see if they can get some more VAR luck.
I know, it's insane. Well, we roughly have a little under 2 months to go, roughly 8 weeks of games left. Some teams have a couple makeups to happen, but It's just kind of crazy how much can still change and who might still drop points, who might still climb. I want to believe Liverpool can still climb up the table. It's going to take a lot of work and a lot of good results for them to make 6. But you know what? If this is the season that we can't make it happen, I'm kind of okay with like doing a little reset.
Well, yeah. And I think that was. I mean, it's always coming for every team, right? Of when you got to kind of take a year off and reset and everything. So if your reset year ends up with Liverpool and 8, 7, maybe getting up to 6, 5, maybe 4. Like,
I believe
that's not a bad reset year. So
no, I'm okay with if we get 4th, obviously I'm happy with it. But if we don't, I'm okay with taking a year to be like, okay, we need to retool it and get back to where we were. So I'll leave you with that. Any other games you want to talk about? Any other crazy stats? Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything, I guess, abnormal that happened this week. Usually a stat always pops up. I'm like, oh, that's pretty interesting, but I didn't see anything, at least on my end.
Yeah, not too much. I mean, the only thing I really took note of was the midweek match between Leicester and Villa. Ollie Watkins, of course, scored again. And he had scored in 6 consecutive away matches, which is first time anyone's done that since Aguero in 2017. So not that we needed to remind anyone that he's in great form right now, but
it's insane.
There you go.
I guess this is a notable stat then. Michael Olise from Crystal Palace had 3 assists in today's game. That is the youngest player to do so. 21 years, 118 days.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
But again, Leeds kind of let it all happen for him. Again, congrats, you got to earn it. But like that was that was a kind of a interesting stat on that end. But that's about it. Check out this one. Robert Firmino has scored 11 goals in 15 league appearances against Arsenal. No Liverpool player has scored more against the Gunners in league history. 11 and 15. Whew.
I mean, yeah. He's a good player. He likes the game against Arsenal. I mean, maybe I think some of that is benefit of like where Arsenal were in past seasons compared to now. Sure. I mean, he took advantage of that. So that's a good stat line for sure.
Ain't bad. 11 goals. It's going to be crazy when he leaves this team. Don't know where he hasn't said where he's going to go yet.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could imagine like if he goes to a Brighton or someone like that or Brentford, I just like, dang it. Should have just kept him. All right. You want to do nominations here?
Yeah.
All right. Let's start with goal because I'm pretty set on mine. I know you said you had a couple others. I do want to shout out Son because that's just one of my favorite goals. I don't think I'll ever see a goal like that and not be like, that was awesome because it was.
They're just always so nice.
Perfect curler. But Holland, dude doesn't want anything from us because we've been like purposely against it. We hold him to a super high standard. The man has scored 2 goals this week, and I don't think he's gonna get my my nod because we said he's got to get 3. So yeah, that's kind of where I leave it.
Yeah. I mean, Holland's goal would be my pick for sure. Okay. The only other ones that I want to call out, the Nunez goal that Wolves got against Chelsea, I really liked. Son's goal I liked. Midweek, Ferguson had that back heel for Brighton.
Oh yeah, that was really nice.
That probably would have been my maybe goal of the week, or at least really in the conversation had Holland's not happened. Yeah, I mean, those are kind of the big ones, but Holland took this one, I think.
Yeah, Holland kind of balled out like always, and we'll see it. The stat you put on our Discord too of how many goals he scored per his appearances is just he's got absurd,
crazy numbers.
Absurd.
I mean, we knew, but like, still to see it laid out like that is just ridiculous.
All right, then for defenders of the week, I think are we going to do a split, Ramsdale and Allison?
I like it. I mean, they both made like really key saves. It wasn't the most saves ever in a game, but in a really tight match, that could have very easily swung either way. So I think it's fair to shout them both out.
I like it. All right, team, and then player. This is where it's going to get a little funky. I do like Michael Alise getting the 3 assists, and now that he's the youngest player ever to do it, that definitely, I don't know, puts a little more value on it. We did give Trossard player of the week for the triple assist mark.
I mean, I had him. The only other one I really kind of, I guess, just want to like call attention to would be Son for 100 Premier League goals. First Asian player to do it. Like, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So I don't. But then it feels wrong to go against a hat trick of assists for the youngest player too. But
yeah, context for that role. I'm trying to just go by who was the player of this week, and like, yes, Son might be the 100th goal. Like, that's super cool, and the way he did it was awesome. But like, I don't know, you don't see it. You don't see 3 assists very often, especially by a 21-year-old. So that's where I kind of want to lean. I want, if Ollie Watkins had 2 goals in one of these games, he would probably get it. For context, and just for
on the door,
he's right there, and I do think it could happen. Just like I think Haaland, we're just waiting for a hat trick from him. Like, it's coming. Maybe next week. Do you think Haaland gets a hat trick next week? Leicester,
I mean,
probably, right? That's probably the
Leicester,
one.
So it could happen.
We're waiting for you, Haaland. As soon as you get the hat trick, we're pretty much handing it to you.
Yeah.
Unless someone puts up 4 or 5, which would be just very dramatic. But I don't know if that'll happen. All right, are we in agreement, Elise?
Yeah. I think that's a good shout.
And now team of the week. Now for team, I kind of want to focus on the games that happened midweek too. I think we should take into account both of those games. It's tough, man. If I thought Leeds would maybe get this win today, and they were probably going to be my shout, but since they lost today, change things up a little bit. Newcastle scoring 7, allowing 2. That looks really good.
Yeah,
this is a tough one.
I'm kind of leaning towards Newcastle. Like, you put 5 past West Ham away from home. You go away to Brentford, who have had a pretty good, not only home record, but just game record of not really losing too much in the second half of the season. A little bit of luck on their side for that one, but a win's a win. So, I mean, they're definitely in the shout for it. You could say Aston Villa too. They're, went away to Leicester, and then the only thing is, like, Forest didn't really like trouble them too much at home, but maybe that's just more Aston Villa being dominant at home. I don't know. Yeah.
If City played anyone else, I would think about it. If Crystal Palace played kind of I don't know. Leeds isn't in relegation right now. I think Crystal Palace won it last week. No, didn't they? It was Aston Villa or Crystal.
I don't know. That was a whole week ago.
I think it was Aston Villa. Yeah. Oh no, it was Crystal. So they won Team of the Week last week. I think.
Maybe we went a week early on them.
Well, yeah, we might have gone a little early, just a little bit. Aston Villa has not won it for us.
Okay.
So 2 wins in a week might do it. What did I feel like Aston Villa won something from us recently. Oh, Emmy won it.
Emmy, yeah.
So again, I think Newcastle or Aston Villa. I think Newcastle maybe won it from us a long time ago. Not on Instagram. They didn't win it on Instagram. So Newcastle is one we haven't chosen yet.
Yeah. I think I'd maybe lean Newcastle. I mean, you got 2 away wins. West Ham has not been great, but to still put 5 past them, I think is a pretty good look.
And arguably Brentford has looked pretty good.
Yeah.
So, if they gotta have at least one game where they earned, Brentford's probably that one. Brentford is, I don't want to say falling off a little bit, but Nick Pope made a big PK save, and that goes a long way too for a majority of the season. So, if you're down for Newcastle, I could be down for Newcastle as well.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Sweet. So we have Newcastle Team of the Week winning 5-1 and 2-1. Player of the Week being Michael Olise with his triple assists. Goal of the Week going to Erling Haaland for his wacky doodle contortion thing. I don't even like what type of goal is that? I know it's a bike, but it wasn't even like a scissor kick. It wasn't even a bike. It was like
he just swings the leg.
All right, we'll call Erling Haaland the swinger goal. And our defensive players split between Allison and Ramsdale for giving a thriller of a Sunday afternoon, early morning game for the West Coast people. That was a fun week. I wish all weeks were this busy, but now we're getting into crunch time. Next week, we'll just have Saturday and Sunday games. Loaded up Saturday. Chelsea Brighton on my list. That's kind of the biggest one. Aston Villa, Newcastle, though, that's up there. 2 teams that could be a doozy.
Worth to keep an eye on for sure.
Bournemouth and Tottenham. Last time Tottenham had Bournemouth, things did not go their way until the very last second. So maybe Bournemouth, the redemption team, because I've been there, I've seen that, I've heard that. They might come in and do something naughty. So. Yeah, that'll be fun. So yeah. All right, Chad. Anything else for us?
Not too much. Sac Republic update, I guess, real quick. Open Cup match midweek started terribly.
Yes.
Granted, they played a lot of bench players and young players. Went down 2-0 pretty quickly. Didn't really bring it back until like the 80th minute when more of the starters were in the game. Goes extra time. They go down 3-2. Get it back to 3-3 pretty quickly, luckily. And then, it goes to down 4-3, and you're just like, what the hell's going on with this game? And then, luckily, they turned it on and got it to 5-4. But I don't ever want to see a 9-goal game ever again. I don't care if it's 9-4 Sac Republic. It was just too much. Too many goals.
That's a lie. You want to see 9-0. Trust me. I've been there. It's great.
Yeah.
Hell, take 7.
Yeah. But, I mean, great to keep the Open Cup run alive. Mm-hmm. They play Oakland Roots in the next round at home. So, little local rivalry.
Nice.
So that'll be cool. And then, last night they went away to San Antonio, who won the whole league last year. Got a draw from that, so I think a pretty good away draw there. So, Sac Republic still top of the table with San Antonio. They both got 11 points, so cruising right now.
Well, I hope they keep it going. I do want to shout out San Francisco just got a WSL team, Women's Soccer League. So they'll be going, I think next season is when they'll start it up.
Okay.
But congrats to them. That'll be super fun. I have a couple of friends in the Bay who've been posting tweets about it. So
nice.
It's cool to see that up and coming. And, like us, we'll hopefully get our Women's World Cup show on the road and bring in a nice new crowd of people. But anything else for us, Chad?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, with that, episode 31 is in the books. We are having a pretty happy day since we split a draw. I'm okay with it. No hard feelings. We move
No,
on.
we're good.
No one's sad here. Episode 31. Hope everyone has a great Sunday afternoon. Again, we did this one early. And with that, Hooligan's pitch. We're out. Peace.